Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rongan's podcast. I'm Dinesh Sagi, joined by Amara and then Punk.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Hi guys.
Thanks, you.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. We've been waiting for this episode, so I'm quite excited now.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I hear you, and for all of you and whoever's gonna follow us and probably enjoy this little podcast that we plan to do today is about a special player. So maybe I'll spend a couple of minutes doing a brief background in terms of who this player is, and then we'll probably go into the details. So yeah, really quickly, right? So today's episode, we are dedicating it to a special player who has his name in the history books with his recent exploits at the recently concluded Vodagowska Trophy. Uh, Someone who managed to pick 32 wickets at an average of 1306, an economy of 2.76 from 9 innings. Uh, his exploits were all over the news across the cricketing fraternity, and the opposition team, which essentially is Australia here, were also raving about he was a difference in terms of Australia sort of retaining the Madagascar trophy. There's a lot of players who are in agreement. If it wasn't for just with Bumrah, the series could have ended 5-0. And there were even talks about him if he was fit for that Sydney second innings, things still could have gone in India's favor. That's sort of impact this player had on the recently concluded series. Obviously, without a G, you guys must have figured the name by now. But it's my privilege to announce brilliant Bumrah and his achievements on this podcast today.
Really excited.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I want to add, right? Obviously, a lot of pundits and media tagged him as brilliant Bumrah on back of his recent exploits. And one of the things I really want to sort of highlight is he made his debut in 2016 in the ODIs and the T20s in the white ball format, and he's only managed to make his debut in Test cricket around 2018. So he hasn't been around that long, to be honest. Under a decade, and he already is compared to be probably the best fast bowler that's ever been produced, or at least I could say, he's probably in the top three of the greatest fast bowlers that this cricketing fraternity has ever seen. So that's the sort of greatness he's already achieved in less than 10 years. So that's something I want to call out as well. Before we get into the details of what this man has achieved and what is contributed to the Indian cricket and the world cricket, maybe Amar, a quick thought on brilliant Bumrah, his exploits, and any recent recollection of maybe a particular moment of Bumrah that you really can think of and want to share with this group.
Yeah, I mean, to totally, he's like mentioned that he hasn't been around for too long. Um, Although it seems because he has been playing so many matches for India that it looks like that whenever we are watching India play, he's playing. So he has played quite a lot. He hasn't been around, but already we are considering him the legend of the game. Normally, towards the end of the career, when people have played n number of years, and then we give that particular player that accolade. But because of his ability, because of his um, magic on the field, we are already giving him that accolade that he's a legend of the game. And um, right from the start we have seen that he's very very difficult bowler to be picked by the batsman. Batsmen are not able to pick him, and right from the start we saw that because of his action, it was difficult for the batsman to pick him up because of its uh, kind of sideways action, and then ball kind of cuts in. It looks like the ball would cut in because of the action, but at times it doesn't. So that's deceptive, and there are other deceptive things as well, like because he does not have a long run up, does not have a fast run up. Even then, the ball comes surprisingly quick to to the batsman. So these are the deceptive qualities he had when he already started playing cricket. But then, as great players do, they develop skills. So initially, we saw he had a brilliant Yorker, which after the Sri Lankan great Lasith Malinga, we saw that Bumrah was the one he's carrying that expertise. Of course, we saw that in Mumbai Indians, maybe he got a little bit of Malinga's Yorker skills as well. But yeah, I mean, and later on he developed other skills as well. He got the slower balls and the ability to swing it both ways. But one thing he always had was his temperament and his intellect to read the pitch, to read the batsman, and that only improved with time. So that's why he is where he's today. So yeah, amazing bowler, amazing cricketer for India, and not only India, he's considered to be one of the greats of the cricket fraternity around the world. So yeah, we're lucky to have him, and what a delight to watch him, really.
Absolutely, and you made some good points there, right? Obviously, the moment he came in, and obviously, he's been an expert on the Yorker, and obviously, a lot of bowlers kind of looking at him and saying, like, the way he generates that pace with the short run up. And also, another piece I want to just quickly highlight before Pankaj reach out to you is when he initially made his debut, and obviously with his bowling action and the sort of run up he had, there's a lot of pundits back then even made some comments in terms of maybe he's a good white ball cricketer, but not be good enough to kind of play at the highest level, which is obviously the Test cricket, given the amount of workload, the amount of overs he has to bowl, and with his bowling action, he might not fit into that sort of cricket. But obviously, it took everyone by surprise, even in the Test format. So, Punk, maybe really quickly, right? Your thoughts, your recollection of Bumrah from the time he started playing for India and his recent exploits, obviously.
Yeah, I'll just go back a bit, like just before he actually, how he was picked up, because a lot of people do not know the story behind, because with such unconventional action, you have to have a luck, to be picked up, because India, that they hardly try anybody new. They will go with, the worst of the bowlers and get them into the international team. So just a quick background to Jasprit. Yeah. So somewhere around in 2010, he appeared for the Gujarat Cricket Association. Like, this is under 19 district selection trials. Now, as the selectors would, right, they did not include him to the main squad. He was the reserve, as you say, right? So what happened in that district team? They won 3 matches, right? So all the 3 reserve players got a chance to get an opportunity in the 4th 3-day match. Yeah. And Bumrah took 7 wickets in that match. So, that's the first instance where he gets to play on the Gujarat Cricket Association, 7 wickets in the first match. And then what happens is, then he does a debut in Gujarat against Maharashtra in the Saeed Ali, Saeed Mustaq Ali Trophy for 2012-2013. And that's the first time Gujarat wins against Maharashtra. And what happens is, on 18th of March, around over that time, you had John Wright, who was then the Mumbai Indians coach, and he was scouting around for people. And then he saw Bumrah, and that's where he was invited to sign up for MI. So just to give a background how he came through. So just that reserve match, he gets to play, gets 7 wickets, and then in the Saeed Ali 2 years down the line, he wins the first. That was the first match Gujarat won against Maharashtra, and in the Saeed Ali Mustaq Trophy. So a quick background to how he got an opportunity to play, and from there we know its history. I think so. You already have Amar talking about the 2016 international debut, and even you, Dinesh, right? How he debuted, and he did it on the ODI thing, and then later on the T20, right? And in terms of stats, I will definitely give some stats of, we know in this series, he used the highest wicket taker in Australia for India. The last time it was Bishan Singh Bedi in 1979 series, 31 wickets. and Bumrah's taken 32 and like 13.06. So it's crazy. The other things which, like, quick, in terms of some cricketers talking about in Damon Fleming, he's already ranked him the top bowler who has ever toured Australia. Now, the thing is, not this series. You look at 2018, uh, that was a crazy series for Bumrah. We won 2-1. And the matches which India won, he really performed well. Look at the 2021, the Melbourne one, which was what happened in the 36 all out in Adelaide. It was Bumrah who took the 4 wickets in the first innings. And then he comes back with another, 2 or 3 wickets in Melbourne as well. So he was the highest wicket taker in that match as well, which India won. In the Sydney as well, he got injured after and did not play the Gabba one. But and then he comes back in the third series. So this is his third series visiting Australia, and he's got loads of wickets. Just in this series, out of the 74 odd wickets, he's got 50% of the wickets out of the 4-5 bowlers which India, played. So you can imagine, he took like 50%. No other, bowler has taken that many wickets. So it just shows how critical he is for India to win overseas. Same thing with in England. He was the man of the series in the 2021, which India drew. And 2018 South Africa, the match which India won. Again, he was there. He debuted in 2018 for Test. So crazy records. If you take out his domestic ones, even in domestic matches, he's done well. Like, that is, I'm talking about home matches, not domestic, home Test matches. Just take that record away and just look at the international across the center countries. He's got a crazy record, and somewhere I think so in close to the 100 years we have, he's the only cricketer whose strike rate, average is less than 20 for a bowler who's taken more than 150 wickets as well. So that's some crazy stats, And then, apart, we can talk about more things, but let's continue.
Absolutely. Talking about stats, I just want to quickly call out in terms of what he's managed to achieve in Test, ODIs, and T20s, right? Yes, he played 45 games, 86 innings, managed to pick just over 200 wickets, at 205, at an average of 19.40. And then in ODIs, 89 matches, he's managed to pick 149 wickets, again an average of 23.55. And then T20 internationals, 70 matches, 89 wickets at an average of 17.74. In my memory, the last 30 odd years, I remember watching cricket. I don't recollect an Indian bowler, especially a seamer, who's had this sort of average, be it in any format. In the low 20s, I've never known an Indian fast bowler, being able to achieve this sort of stats. So kudos to him, what he's managed to achieve in all three different formats, let alone just Test cricket.
Even the Test stats is crazy, man. No bowler in the world has got like less than 20 for 150 odd wickets and plus that. Right? Something unique which would like to talk about, right? So Bumrah is just not like, we're talking about his achievements. It's not only the Test match, he's the number one ranked bowler across all the three formats, which no other bowler has ever done that. It's a crazy stats, and I don't see that. If you take let's open the topic and let's compare him with his peers, right? Let's take James Anderson, highest wicket taker, right? He was not a good ODI bowler, right? Or T20, forget about that, right? So let's look at Pat Cummins. He's not a great T20 bowler, right? You can say he's a good ODI bowler. Stark as well. So you take Sahin Shah Afridi, for example, from Pakistan. He might do good somewhere in the T20, but then you look at his Test, it's crazy. Let's take other bowlers as well, right? Across. So it'll be interesting to find a bowler who's got that caliber to be good across all the three formats, right? And where people, especially the T20 ones, right? Test, because you have a field setting and the ball swings a lot, so there is that opportunity for a bowler to pick his field and other things. But T20, right, to have that crazy stats is crazier than ever, right? Even Glenn McGrath, when he joined, when he played the IPL, he was sash round. So, something which I'm just opening to you guys. Think of a bowler who comes near to Bumrah across the three formats.
No, it's not. It's, and also, with that crazy stats and the numbers which he has of his performance, it's also not possible that that you play in one say one country and you get that. It's not possible. He is good anywhere he plays,
Yeah.
and any sort of pitch he plays on. So he is able to. That's what I'm talking about, the intellect. He's able to understand the pitch, and he's able to get what he wants to do from that pitch as well. So um, amazing quality. But it has to be across the format and across the world as well in different conditions.
Yeah, absolutely right. Maybe really quickly, right before we get into more stats and stuff, I just want to maybe a fond memory of Jasprit Bumrah, right? That one instance where it sort of clicked to him, say, "Wow, glad we had Bumrah in our lineup." Maybe Amar, that one instance that probably you can think of.
Oh God, can't forget the World Cup, isn't it? 30
Hmm.
balls, 30 runs. Uh, in T20, that's like, even the lower order batsman can get them. But when he came, we decided that, we were hoping against the hope that, something might happen, something magical will happen, and India will be able to win from that situation. And magical thing did happen. Bumrah came on, and then he changed the game entirely. So can't forget that one. Um, so that is the memory, and that will remain forever.
Absolutely, Punk. Anything you would like to call out?
No, like that, especially when it was like 28 runs in 30 balls or something, around about that number. It was less than six actually. The
Yeah.
net run rate to get, crazy man. That over
Uh,
changed the way he bowled, and it felt like, and it started, and he used his reverse swing really well
mhm,
around that 15th, 16th over.
mhm.
And that really gave some hope because you could see that pressure. He had 2 overs, and that 2 overs, like, he created havoc for the Africans, right? And that
Yeah.
pressure, you know, just got to them. So, I haven't seen an instance
Mhm.
where you have, some really good batsmen down the order and batting as well,
Yeah.
and then losing from there. I'm not talking about Leylander's batting. You had like 2, 3 good batsmen. Even after that, when Klassen was playing, you had like Miller, you had like Jansen,
Marco
you had
Jansen,
yeah.
that in
So you
swing
had
that he,
yeah.
yeah, he bowled him out
So
like it's yeah.
crazy man,
Mhm.
and it was not like you were looking for 8 runs per over or something. It was like less than 6.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
yeah,
No, I hear you.
I'll go with Amar because it's not just one ball. It is the
Mhm.
entire 2 overs. It's just the consequence of that 2 overs which changed the game for India. So, and
Yeah.
to bring back from that, you need a lot of courage. You need a lot of skills.
Mhm.
Crazy man. I don't have an instance anywhere across where something like that has happened. We watch a lot of World Cups. So it's gone. It's gone. But somebody to pull that from there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Amazing,
I don't have an
amazing.
instance. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And if it's okay, I want to mention one more
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
memory of Bumrah,
Mhm.
which I can never take out of my head really, and that is the first wicket of his IPL debut. It was Virat Kohli. He had hit him 3 fours,
Mhm.
and it was and I did watch interviews after that, and he did say that he was there was a little bit of the outfield was a little bit wet and he was slipping there, but he took the wicket of Virat Kohli after being hit for 3 fours. But the memory of Bumrah which I have is the
Mhm.
reaction after that wicket. His reaction was like he shouted his guts out, and
Yeah.
that teenager or early 20s, I would say, getting the legend Virat Kohli out, and that's a reaction of triumph that was
Mhm.
that he released that time. But then we
Yeah,
never saw that reaction ever after that, because he realized, or maybe he was told that, you show your aggression in your bowling, not in that way where you're screaming towards the bowler, towards the batsman, or anywhere. So, and he maintained that throughout throughout his career, really. And previously, also in previous podcast, Pankaj has mentioned that he is one of the nicest guys in
yeah,
the world cricket, and you never see him um, that aggressive after taking the wicket. Now, I mean, Sam Costas is a different story, but but yeah, before that, you never seen that. So that remains that, once he has done something, and then he realized that that is a not good thing to do.
yeah.
He's very, very very, very intelligent to pick that up, really. So that remains in my memory.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Just on that note, right? It's natural instinct for a fast bowler to react that way, because you put so much adrenaline running up to the wicket, and in that instance, if you pick up a wicket, especially after like conceding three deliveries, I think it's very natural. I used to bowl like spinning spinners, like loopy off spinners, and I used to celebrate maybe more than Bumrah used to do. Obviously, if he's got hold of Virat Kohli as your first wicket, I'm sure that counts for something. And also funny, you mentioned about the contest thing. He reacted this way with obviously Virat Kohli, the king of the game, and maybe after like probably 8 9 years, he's probably done a similar thing with Constance. So maybe it's a good sign for someone like Constance. He might be like the future king of Australian cricket, if not world cricket.
Yeah,
It could be a good
Costas
sign, right?
should be thankful to him. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I bet he's thankful to him not facing him anymore. Yeah, just on the note, just want to call a couple of instances that I recollect, right? Something always sticks with me, especially with Bumrah, right? One, I think it goes back to the 2018 series when we were in Australia. There's a really good partnership being developed. It's potentially the last delivery before lunch, and then he had a little chat with Rohit Sharma, who is fielding and literally like in a short cover, and then he delivers a slow yorker to Sean Marsh out of nowhere. He bowls him brilliant. It's like everyone's like
Yeah.
spellbound. All Sean Marsh had to do is dig out one last delivery, and then the surprise comes in. And this was the time when he was like brilliant with Yorkers. And then another memory, obviously, the recent T20 World Cup, his exploits and everything is done. But obviously, personally, I was watching live India versus Pakistan. All odds are stacked against India. Is once playing his heart out. You know, there's if you even look at
Yeah.
the winning percentage, whatever the predictions, I think India had like 7% at the stage. And for Rohit to bring back Bumrah and the first over, second delivery or third delivery, whatever, if I remember correctly, he nicked off over his one in the slips. That changed the game. Like literally, it just the results just upside down within a fraction of a second. And the amount of noise is I can still hear it like in my ears, the way the Indian crowd reacted. I don't know, man. That was a belief, right? It just set off like one of the biggest games in the T20 World Cup, and obviously we know India Pakistan how much it means for
Hmm.
fans on both sides, and how it kind of set up the rest of the World Cup for us. So yeah, that's something that'll always probably live with me. For a long time. Yeah, that's like a couple of the memories I want to like point out when it comes to Bumrah. So yeah, without further ado, Punk, I know you had some stats down like Bumrah's exploits, so maybe let's spend a couple of minutes on that as well.
Okay, so first thing, right, like just quickly go through, so Bumrah, we know his speed, right? It's close to the mid 30s to 140 kilometers, right? So an average he bowls around 86 miles per hour.
Hmm.
So quick stat, 43% of his deliveries are on a good line and length, right? So
Yeah.
that is that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's 46%, right? Good
Hmm.
line and length, just to give that view, right? And we know that he's capable of swinging both ways. He can seam the ball and also reverse swing. So in Indian conditions, right,
Hmm.
he is able to reverse swing, and that's why we see the England series. He was like lethal in that
Hmm.
series because of his reverse swing and reverse yorker as well. The other thing is very interesting is he creates a reverse Magnus effect. There was a study done on him
Hmm.
5 years back, by some Indian. I'm not getting the person's name, but like some 1,000 RPMs, and because of the way he has hyperextension, right? So, and like, and I've always mentioned, right? Bumrah actually steals half a meter away from the batsman when he
Hmm.
bowls, because he bowls a bit front. So it might feel like you are 86 miles, on the speed gun, but it's not 86 miles. The half a meter is a lot. It would feel like more of a 90-95 miles per hour,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why you see his Yorkers. A lot of batsmen are not able to pick up because they feel it's a bit slow, but it
Hmm.
comes like, you know, um, a few things like, what's happened with Bumrah after his, the way like uh, post injury and pre injury in terms of how well he's done. So I'll just quickly go through that as well in terms of, so when Bumrah was like this is like pre stress, so he had a stress fracture and he was away for like a year.
Hmm.
Um, so in Test cricket, right, he had done around 30 odd wickets. Like match, sorry, what I'm saying, this is pre-injury.
Yeah.
He had 30 matches and he picked up 128 wickets, an average of 21.99. And anybody
Hmm.
less than 30 is great. Okay. And it was like 2.69 was the economy, right? Post
Hmm.
injury. And generally, what happens is like, which all of us have seen, a lot of
Hmm.
bowlers who come back after post injury, right? The speed goes down, they're not able to take those many wickets. But
Hmm.
this guy is like slightly different. He's taken like 53 wickets at 15.39. So he's
Hmm.
decreased, and his overall like 19.99 is a crazy stats for
Yeah.
modern day cricketers. Nobody has got less than 20. Right. The
Hmm.
last time was when you had this open, pitches, uncovered pitches, right? So the 100 years back.
Hmm.
Something similar with ODI cricket. It's not just like his stats have improved post injury. It's even in ODI cricket,
Hmm.
he's got like his average has come down from 24.3 to 20.28, and
Hmm.
his same thing with T20 cricket. T20 cricket is much more crazier now. His economy of 6.62 has gone
Hmm.
down to 4.32, right? And
Yeah.
in the World Cup, it was 4.2 compared
Hmm.
to the rest of the bowlers. If you see the peers as well, you need to look at the peers at that time as well in that era.
Yeah.
They're always like two or three above him,
Hmm.
and his average is 8.57, where he was like 20.22 in T20 before his injury. It's
Hmm.
gone down to 8.57. That's a huge decrease of like 11 and a half. That's a crazy stat. I'm like, and just to add to this, right? So ICC does this test rankings, not like a yearly basis. I'm talking about the overall test rankings or in the history of the bowlers, like you know from where the records have started. I'm talking about 100 years. So as
Hmm.
of now, Bumrah is on 907 ratings, his points, and that is the highest ever for any Indian bowler. So the last best was Ravi Chandra Ashwin, who was a
Hmm.
904. Bumrah was 904 just before this thing. He is 907
Yeah.
as of now. So he's the best ranking bowler for India
So ever
in
play
the
for
history
India.
of Test
Yes.
cricket. Just to
Absolutely.
give you that view, right? He was
Yeah.
very close to actually, crossing a lot of them. If he had won the last thing, I would have seen like six going through to him. But yeah, just to give that view as well, right? So it's not only like we're just talking about Bumrah has done this and all. The stats backs him as well, right?
Yeah.
And yep. So like just few things which a lot of people wouldn't know about these stats. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to give that view as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the word you were looking for earlier, he's a special player.
Yeah, as a legend.
That's what I just want to
No,
underline that.
so
But yeah, he's a special player. But
yeah,
any
I
real,
would rank him the best bowler ever. Like we've watched a lot,
yeah, I think
right?
yeah,
And
he's on
like,
the verge of obviously he's already achieved a lot of it, and I think he's on the verge of being the best ever fast bowler ever produced across the nations. But yeah,
yeah.
any closing thoughts, Amar, on Bumrah and how you would like to see him going forward?
Yeah, he will go, strength to strength even from here. One
Hmm.
would think that a player like him, who's got all the skills,
Hmm.
and to such a perfection, he executes those skills.
Yeah.
What's next for him? What else can he do? and he has been surprising us every single year. He's
Hmm.
he comes up with, you know, new perfection, new skills, and he will win us matches. He will win us many tournaments now. And
Yes.
what we have seen is, whenever what his impact is, even in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, we saw that, like Sam Constance coming in, so the opponents are trying to find a way to counter Bumrah.
Hmm.
That was the whole reason of Sam coming in. And then we saw Indian selection as well, just to accommodate Bumrah. And they could have other changes that they made. They took out a batsman out and all those things. So you can see the impact. So he will
Yeah.
be, he will be one of the most important player in the Indian lineup.
Hmm.
For many, I mean, I can't remember when a bowler is the most important member of an Indian team. It has always been batsmen, Sachin or Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma.
Hmm.
You name them, Sunil Gavaskar. But this is the first time that a bowler is the most important player in the India 11 you will ever see. And also, I mean, we have seen that India is so heavily relied on him that whenever he's not playing, for example, the Sydney Test,
Hmm.
then India didn't win. When he's a little bit off color, like say 2021 WTC final against New
Yeah.
Zealand, India didn't win. So I mean, you can see his importance and what India has to do, and I'm sure they're doing it. That they have to preserve him. They have to
Yeah.
manage him well. What happened in BGT should not happen. He should not be bowling as many overs. Um, uh, Maybe he would, but he needs more support. That's what I meant. So bring bowlers who can support him, and India will be in a India will be able to achieve much more than what they are doing now.
No, absolutely. One of the things you missed out, I want to add is maybe hopefully potentially clone him as well if possible, and create more
We need
Bumrahs.
more
Yeah,
Bumrahs.
absolutely. World needs more Bumrahs. Punk, any
Yeah.
final thoughts?
Yeah, just few final thoughts, right? So
Mm.
like, we all grew up in Sachin era, right? 90s.
Yes.
And it was all Sachin, 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 right? And then you had like a couple there was there like as a bowling all round, then Sachin, then you had like Sunil Gavaskar, or generally it was like batting exploits, which we
Mhm.
talked about, right? Today we're talking about Bumrah, He shifted the mindset of a generation of Indian you know fans
Mhm.
towards, like, and this is why we are doing it, right? So
Yeah,
this is a great
absolutely.
achievement on Bumrah, where we all like, batting, we always talking about batting legends and batting, and I feel that this is a cusp of, where you will see a lot of youngsters
Hmm.
seeing Bumrah being praised. Whenever, if you remember, Sachin getting praised across the Australian tour, scoring those centuries when 17 years, and then Kohli in 2014, all that, right?
Hmm.
But this is a series where everybody is talking about Bumrah, and not the Indians. You're not talking about the Indian commentators. You're talking about the Australians. They were, and there's the I saw Buria Muzumdar's podcast just
Sure.
like a day back or yesterday.
Hmm.
The entire podcast was about Bumrah, and he was telling, like, in SCG, and everybody talked about, if Bumrah was in that second innings, there was no way Australia was going to win that war. So they were really scared, and
Hmm.
when they realized that Bumrah is not going to go bowl, right, that gave them that confidence to go against, like, go out full on. Even after the match which got over in Sydney, and this I'm taking some like quote Boria and like his
Hmm.
team, when they were like going for restaurants or going to food courts here and there, they were only like the fans, like I'm talking about Australian fans, right? They're just talking about Bumrah, what an exceptional bowler. And I'm like Damon Fleming, like, and his team, right? They came up, he's ranked above Marshall, Garner, Curtly Ambrose, Sir Richard Headley, and all of those. He's ranked him as the best bowler who's toured Australia. So just to add that, it's not just like we talking about Bumrah here. You go around Twitter, you go around, different podcasts across different countries, from
Yeah.
Michael Holding to anybody,
Hmm.
they're just talking about Bumrah. So he's done something crazy, and
Yes.
I'm like, that's good for India and like good for
So Punk,
cricketers.
me calling out on Bumrah a few months ago that he is the greatest cricketer ever. Ball does that doesn't count, is it? I was
No,
calling that a few months.
so if you look into the first podcast,
Uh,
we
yeah,
already put him in a legend.
yeah.
So it was just
Yeah.
from
And
there, where does it go? So
I always say that if there was a Nobel Prize for being a cricketing genius, that's Bumrah. He should
absolutely,
get it.
Absolutely, and
he's a
you summed
genius
up,
actually.
right? You summed it perfectly. Yeah, and I hear you guys. Like, I'm not surprised. They're not talking about anybody else apart from Bumrah across the world right now. Not just cricket fraternity. I think his name's now sort of coming out, outside cricket fans as well, talking about this Indian fast bowler. He's able to achieve what he managed to do in Australia. Yeah, no, kudos to him. Yeah, maybe just on that note, would really want to kind of close out, maybe some final remarks. Thank you, Bumrah, for everything you've done for our nation and obviously the world cricket. Kudos to you. We wish you all the very best. Recover soon, come back. Continue your exploits, win us more tournaments, more World Cups, and we really look forward to seeing Bumrah on the pitch sooner than later in all three formats again. Thank you, Skipper, where she is at the moment, and let's see how things unfold going forward. But yeah, just want to take this opportunity to thank all Bumrah fans and cricketing fans. What a genius bowler that he turned out to be. But yeah, on that note, thank you again for today's podcast. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Any feedback, we're more than happy to take. But yeah, just on this note, I just want to say one last thing. The popular meme that went around post winning the T20 World Cup, just like Siraj and the rest of the world. I only believe in Jesse Bai.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you. See you
Bye
guys.
bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.